Hello, this is Brian Jardine with tutorialplay.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the layer mask to erase portions of your images in a safe way so that you can sort of go back and get parts of the images back if you need to. We're going to be working with this image of this motorcycle, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some movement to the image and make a very grunge look to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our layer mask to achieve that. So what we do is we go into our layers, and I'm going to double click on this locked background layer, click OK, and that unlocks the layer. Then I'm going to make a copy of this layer so I can work on just the copy. I'll hide the bottom layer and I'll work on just this layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a mask to it, and in the layers palette, to add a mask you just click on this new mask or add layer mask tool, and you'll see a white square appear to the right of your layer thumbnail. So basically when you are on this white box, it means that you're activating the layer mask, and then you can work on this layer mask. You always want to make sure that you select this layer mask before you start working on it. Okay, let's go ahead and let's add some movement to this image by using our brush tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to select a brush that has a natural texture to it. So I'll select the natural brushes too, and I'll select the second one for my purposes. And now what I'm going to do is increase the brush size here. I'll make it somewhere around like 200 or so. Okay, and what I'll do is make sure that I'm on the mask, and now I'm going to just start creating these lines of movement. I think I'll make my brush a bit bigger. I'm going to use the close bracket key to make my brush bigger using the keyboard. That's to the right of the letter P as in Paul. Alright, and let's go ahead and I'm going to just drop this opacity a little bit, and let's just bring in some texture lines here. Alright, this is just adding some movement here. Alright, and the reason I'm doing these lines all in the same direction, just to have a controlled sense of movement. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to add a white background because I'm starting to see the checkered pattern of the transparent layer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a new layer. We're going to go to the layers palette, and we're going to click on this new layer icon. Okay, now we're going to fill with the background color. In my case, the background color is white. I could invert this and then the white would be in the foreground, but I'm going to leave it in the background, and I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, and then I'm going to select the background color. Okay, now I've filled my new layer with white. I'm going to drag that layer to the bottom, and now you can start seeing, okay, now when I work, let me just go back to the layers palette. Okay, so now when I work on my layer, my top layers, the white is going to show. Okay, let me click back on this mask right here because that's what I'm working on. Okay, and now I'm going to just make some more of these lines, and I'm going right over the motorcycle, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm now working on a mask, so I could always go back and bring back parts of that motorcycle because I'm not actually deleting the image. What I'm doing here is different to deleting because I'm actually just creating that mask that actually hides part of the image. So let's just keep going here. You can start seeing some really nice textures coming through, really aggressive movement, and that's really what we want. We still want to maintain part of our background so we can see that there's actually movement, but it's good to have these aggressive lines. Okay, and I grabbed my ruler there, so I'm going to drag that over. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, make sure that I'm still on the mask. I'm going to zoom in, and now I'm going to start bringing back part of the motorcycle, and to do that I'm going to use the eraser tool. So it's kind of inverted because I'm painting using the brush tool, which makes it look like I'm erasing, and now I'm erasing using the eraser, but I'm actually bringing back the detail in the motorcycle. So here I'm going to start bringing back this detail in the motorcycle, and you'll see that it's just very subtly coming back, and that's what we want. We just want the subtle appearing of the motorcycle here. Okay, so this is coming together pretty nicely. Make sure that I get my details of each of the elements of the motorcycle so you don't lose the motorcycle detail. Okay, we're moving along here. And I try and stay in that directional movement. Try not to go in circles where as much as I can, because I really want to just naturally work in circles. But I have this motion, these lines, that I want to just try and just keep intact as much as possible. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the other layer to just bring back dynamically just certain parts of the motorcycle. So what I'll do is go to the layers palette, take this layer, make a copy of it, and then drag it to the top and just use the eye, click on the eye icon to show it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a selection over the parts that I want to bring back in full detail. So in my case, I just want to bring back, I'm going to use the polygon lasso tool, and what I'm going to do is just click to select and then just click at points. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing this, maybe bring some of this back in, and I'm just sort of I'm just kind of selecting my area that I want to be the full detail of this motorcycle. And I don't want to lose that texture, so I don't want to bring back the whole motorcycle, but you know, just kind of like bringing in these details and just thinking organically here. Okay, now what I'd like to do is I'd like to add a bit of a feather to this, so I'm going to go to select, modify, add a feather, and that's going to soften these edges just a little bit. So I'll do 6 pixels, that's fine. Okay, now I'll go to that layer and I'm going to click on the mask tool again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now you can see I've just brought back a whole bunch of detail in the motorcycle. And now what I can do is I can go back to my previous layer, click on the mask, and I can just use the eraser tool a little bit more to bring back some of this detail. So let's just do that. Let's just bring back some detail sort of around these edges. Okay, and I'm going to up the opacity here just a little bit, so when I'm working it's getting a little bit faster as I'm working. The workflow is a bit better, and now you can see that some of these details are coming through, and it just looks a little bit more smooth, a little bit more balanced, but I'm not losing that motion in the image. You can see just doing that, sometimes that also makes it look pretty good. So there we go, just bring that in, and in a relatively short period of time we've now created a sort of a grunge look and dramatic look over our image. Now you can keep working on this. You can obviously make your own sort of design decisions subjectively, but right now I'm kind of liking that. That's a very easy way to just add some visual interest to your image. And basically you've now learned how to use the mask tool with your layers to do all the work that you need to do. The best thing about the mask tool is if you're not happy with your work, you simply drag the mask over the trash icon, click delete, and you go back to what you had before. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Be sure to go back to tutorialplay.com and keep watching tutorials, and just let us know if there's a particular tutorial subject you want us to teach on, and we'll see you there.